Hello, people of YouTube.
The
We are your
people.
overseers. We have come to make sure that you're behaving yourselves. No, not really.
We're going to talk about Star Trek, Stuart, as I check our audio levels. Say some nice things to our fans and wonderful people out there.
You guys are awesome, and awesome. We're going to have some interesting things to say about this episode. Remember, excuse me, this is just part one.
Much louder than me, Stuart. Let's see how the audio level's now.
This is just part one. We're not going to be doing part two till tomorrow. So we're just part one that we're doing today. So just keep that in mind. Jill says, I would rather watch 50 Shades of Grey or Code of Honor than watch my beloved Data nearly destroy Geordi. Painful and irritating as hell. How bad this... it ruins Data and the Borg at the same time. I am talking. Ha 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 ha. I don't know why you keep ha-haing in my ear. Ha 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 ha. There you go. We're talking at normal audio levels so that people can understand what the hell is going on. Hi guys. Welcome back to Trekyards. Always professional here, as you can tell. We're always on top of things.
OBS is just lying. So keep talking, Stuart. Keep joking. Because lies. You're at minus 54 now, and I'm at minus 6.
Okay, Thribs says stop it, and I don't know what he's talking about, so we need to get the audio levels right so people don't complain that the commander is louder than me or I'm louder than the commander. Hello, Chris, how's it going? Hey, Stuart Samuel, and fellow Trekyards.
That's better.
He keeps interrupting me. Jeff, I'm back, but I cannot get my screen to minimize, but it will work. We'll work through it.
Minus 85. Joy, oh joy.
I don't know why you keep announcing. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Just do your thing. Make it go. How does it sound to you guys? Are we at the same level? Do I sound okay? Because every time we use OBS for anything else and then come back to it...
That probably works audio level-wise, but let's have a last check, because boy did a lot of things there.
Okay, he did a lot of things. Sam is quite again.
Okay, you're now at minus 91, and I'm at minus 2. So,
nice.
Let's hope that works, because boy, it makes no sense.
Oh, well. Yeah, so keep in mind, guys, we're not doing the full 2 parts today. We're just doing part 1. We'll do part 2 tomorrow, so, yeah.
It was a 2-part episode, so it does make some sense.
Yes. Some will probably do 2-part episodes in one, but not this one.
Okay. Fair enough. How good would you if I wasn't looking? And guys, do check
56.
Check out our today bonus video on the Galaxy
this,
class from
from
the Picard new trailer. Have a look. Just released earlier because why not? We're nice like that. We happen to be filming, including new renders. Go enjoy.
Yes. Great video out today, so go check it out.
Go share this. We'll do a little bit more talking, but then we'll just go straight.
Alright, so he's sharing, so it's the time of the video where I tell you guys that Super Chats are a great way to help out the channel. Also head on over to our Patreon. We just filmed a new Patreon video earlier today. That'll be up soon. So new Patreon stuff will be on the way. So check it out. If you want to up your levels to $5, you get the animations that we're going to be doing for that as well. So check out Patreon, or if you want to have your voice heard, your question answered, your comment right on screen, and be part of the community, part of the chat, part of the conversation, by all means, think about Super Chat, as we'll have to read those, and they come up in their own separate window. And Stuart Ross is here. Nothing is worse than masks. I totally disagree. I don't mind masks at all. It's a pretty interesting episode. Not the best, obviously, but yes. Also, yes, 63 of you here. Everybody, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you're going to be around on Thursday night, because I do my first reaction to Picard. Friday, we'll be doing our full reaction video live. So that should be good. I'm looking forward to Picard, as are you guys, I hope. We did do a Picard-related video today. We talked about the Galaxy class that was seen briefly for like 3 frames in the trailer. So check that out, and we compare it to some of the other hero ships or hero computer CGI ships of the Enterprise D that we have on file. Compare it and see if there's any changes. And there are a few. Yeah, I know. Can't believe we're only a few days away from Picard. I agree. Hey, my favorite Star Trek channel, says Christian Yeager, the CP Ranger. Thank you, Christian. Jill says, stop, yawn. Oh, well, that's not nice.
So, Stuart.
Anyway, yes.
What are your... I mean, do you remember this? Now we've skipped another season. Came near the end of the show. Wow, that was quick. It took us months to get through season 1, and then days to get to season 6. So do you remember any sort of first watch impressions of this at the time? Because, Return of the Borg, Return of Lore, two-parter, any sort of memory at the time, from the time?
Nope. This is one I do not remember anything of except for the opening scene. The opening scene with the poker game, that's very memorable, but I didn't know it was in this episode. Mm-hmm. Rest of it, I still don't know what happened, and I just watched it. It's a very unmemorable season finale or cliffhanger. And it's weird because there is so much cool stuff, as you said. I mean, we get introduction to a new ship, the Borg are back, Lore's back.
The different Borg?
Yeah, exactly. That only gets revealed for Lore stuff at the end, though. So it's like dun, dun, dun. And then part 2 is also, it's still on. Lore's not in it very much, actually. But anyway, it's just, it boggles my mind. Like, this is this is season 6. Mm-hmm. Last episode of season 6. And it's like, you think this would be one to remember, and it just was not. So.
Yeah. Did you like any better in this or rewatch, looking at analyzing?
Nope. The characters don't seem to do what their characters would do. It just, there's very little about this that I enjoy. It feels like there's a lot in there, but I don't remember any of it at the end of it. I don't know what the problem was.
And this is a great example whereby we judge the content as it comes. We are not biased towards these things. Good characters, bad script can mean bad episode. Bad characters, good script can do the opposite. So don't think that we hated on the Discovery short for or Picard short. Like, each content is as it comes. That is the fundamental truthness to balanced reporting. So my memories of this, I have some, but they're really only of part 2. Most of the end of part 2 of the resolution to the Data lore storyline, and I guess the Borg ship, but I mean it beyond the fact that it's different, it leaves very little impression. And also the stop moment, that's quite memorable. But yeah, in rewatching it, I had mixed feelings. I enjoyed it more this time because I was enjoying the setup. The problem is I know the payoff, and I link the two because I should link the two because we know in the future. But I think in a first watch, this is actually quite a good dum because it's a really interesting setup. I already know I don't like the payoff very much. I think it's quite a weak payoff, so I can't really just differentiate those in my brain because because of watching it, it's like they introduce lots of interesting things. It builds. The Data thing could be really interesting. The Borg thing could be really interesting. The Borg ship, who the hell knows? Oh, it's just that. You know what I mean? I know where it's going, and I really don't care very much. But I think a lot of potential. This is equates to what I said about Discovery Season 2. If the payoff doesn't work, it actively damages the Part 1 or the early season. This is a decent setup, poor payoff, which actively weakens this part because you're like, well, what's the point? So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it more, but it feels kind of hollow. Like, it's set up.
Yeah.
It's set up. And it would have been better as a mid-season, like a mid-season break. Like, you got to wait 2 months for it to come back. da-da-da-da, you know? And then he's like a season 6 part 2 villain. In 3 episodes, he escapes and the Borg come back. Like this is the start of the Borg resurgence, but they're, you know, the fractured Borg, and that could have been a really interesting like sub-season plot. Also, that's not how they did shows back then.
Honestly, this could have been a single episode.
You know, that would have been rushed as hell. I don't. Well, can't say I agree with that, but I get. I mean, in interest factor, there's too much to happen to be in 1 episode.
Yeah, but it's just not a good enough story to be a 2-parter. I don't know. It's
isn't. It really isn't.
84 people watching. Everybody hit the like button. We need 10 more likes to make Jeff pay. So let's do it to it. Did anyone try drinking their way? I wish I would have. Now that you said that, maybe part 2 tomorrow. I'll have a drink while we're doing the live. Who knows?
It's not bad. It's just not good. You know.
Yeah, it's going to rank low for season 6. I can tell you that when we do our all of season 6 ranking, it's not going to be high compared to the other ones in season 6.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where we put it for all of TNG. But
let's jump in. And guys, if you have comments, questions, thoughts, please do super chat your way through this. We'd like to get Cinematic live, so if you can, please do. And let's see. Yep, there we go. Right. So yeah, starts off with a poker game that only exists because Stephen Hawking asked to be in the show. That's it. No other reason. It's just a fun because he asked scene. And they were like, yeah, we'll put you in. We'll get the credit and the cool and make your life ambition come true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the scene.
Yeah. So Isaac Asimov, Einstein, and Hawking. And it's funny because Data's like, well, I thought it would be interesting to get the 3 greatest minds, or 3 of the greatest minds in the same room playing poker and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And she basically says, so far it's been most illuminating because they're bickering and anyway, yeah. And I'm thinking the whole time, poor Stephen Hawking hologram. Couldn't you have made him healthy? Just saying.
I mean, why'd you have to give the guy the wig, which is not his hair? You know, why is he wearing an inappropriate wig and not just his hair? Although it makes you wonder, they could have been cheeky. It wouldn't have helped as much. They could have had Zefram Cochrane, you know, if they were trying to be very canon-y, because he's just as important as these people theoretically. You know, develop gravity, but like, you know, discover gravity. But what about warp drive, the one that gets in the stars and progresses humanity beyond the planet? Also quite important. And if obviously they'd known the guy from Babe was in it, he would have been quite a fun dynamic to put on the table. You know, the drunk. Just saying. But for what it is, it's a nice scene. It's just so throwaway. It's ridiculous. This should have been like a webisode or like a bonus DVD like exclusive. It should be like 5 minutes longer and just a featurette. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's a reason to sell merchandise because you got that cool card holder that Stephen Hawking has. Wonder if they actually make that. If somebody makes that. That'd be kind of neat.
It is cool.
Unnecessary but neat. Chris Gwillem puts in £9.99.
Thank you.
For Stephen Hawking legend. Yes. But anyway, there's a red alert thing.
And Thribis says Guy from Babe, really? Yeah, that's what he was known as when he was given the Zefram Cochrane part. So I was making a little in a joke. It was a better joke. Didn't it seem weird that he was choosing to play poker in his own holodeck quarters? Because it comes off as like he's in his quarters and they're holograms, but his whole room is like he could have been in any location in the galaxy, chooses his own quarters to play with these.
Well, maybe before they started playing, he was showing them around and showing them his equations on his computer and things he's been working on.
Sure.
Getting their input.
Sure. Just seemed a bit funny to have his own quarters.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so they get a distress call from Onaka 3 Outpost.
Right into action.
Yeah, they said they're under attack. Jeff Jacobs puts in $2, 54 likes in 13 minutes. Awesome. Again at 100. Hashtag make Jeff pay. 93 people watching. Hit like. And yeah, the ship configuration that's attacking does not match anything in their records. And there's never any answers for that either.
No, in the grand scheme, no. But it gets revealed, and I mean, I think this ship actually holds up really well in HD, especially on the flybys with the glowing inner bits. It's a very interesting design. I think is better than some of its parts. Like, it was a happy accident of that kind of works, huh?
Mm.
You know?
There's a lot of stupid decisions in this and the next episode. And one of them is this one. It's like, well, maybe they're not attacking. Maybe they're also a victim. We can't really read anything on the planet because of the EM interference. Send an away team down. It just seems like a stupid idea at the time. You can't read anything. You can't even tell if there's alien life forms down there.
See, this is how you're being how I am with normal plot holes and Discovery and such. You're like, this is ridiculous. Here's you point out. So I'm quite refreshed, Stuart, by you being like I normally am. And so that shows you must really hate those plot points, see them as plot holes that I get with often things in Discovery.
Well, later there's a really stupid decision, which we'll get into when we get there.
Good. It's nice that I'll be on this side of the fence. I'll be the positives. You can be the filmic negatives. I like it, but yeah, I like the ship actually. I like the ship. I wish I'd seen it again. It should have been in Voyager. It should have been a CGI model. It should have been featured. It should have been like Borg's private like weapon ship. Should have been dedicated like attack cruiser. It's like, why'd you have this ship? Oh, because that entire left pod or right pod is just torpedo tubes. That's all it is. You know that they really should have put that in Voyager, I think.
Yeah, but we never get an explanation if the ship was an alien ship that they took over, if it's something they constructed, because they even asked that question and we never get a goddamn answer.
Yep. That would have been anyway. That would have been the resolution in Voyager. They would have shown yes, it was. They did.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I know it is in Voyager. Technically, there's a diagram as Type 3, and there's like a museum piece which says Type 3. Fine, but I just think as a design, it could have looked cool along the side of the fleet, especially if you like change to make it look more Borgy. You turn all different coloured lights into just green. So that when they became un-Borg, that was the small transition they did. They like turned off the Borg screensavers and put on multiple coloured lights as like a rebellious thing. Disco lights went on, Borg lights went off.
Please don't say disco in regards to Star Trek.
Hey, but you know what I mean? I think this design would have been really good in Voyager. I think actually, and a simple model to build ish. Be clever about it.
Well, Jason Moe puts in $20. Thank you very much,
dude.
He says, hey guys, I'm pretty new to Trekyards, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing your Picard reactions in the coming weeks. Thanks for all you do, and keep up the amazing work on the channel. Live long and prosper. Well, thank you very much, Jason. Very appreciated. Glad you're enjoying the content.
We always recommend that you need to go and just search Trekyards a ship, and it's likely we've done it. And enjoy our thoughts, comments, questions, or designer interviews. Go have a look. We have a lot of content, and it's just there to be enjoyed free within a couple of button presses. So yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. So they beam down an away team, and everybody's dead.
Jim.
And the wounds were caused by forced plasma beams, similar to Ferengi hand phasers.
But no, Stuart, it can't be Ferengi. It's too vicious.
Yes.
Okay. But I like the little set, the little silver grey space station set, or space.
It's really nice. There's a lot of cool displays. Yeah.
And didn't you think, going back for a second, the exterior shot, doesn't that just look like Klingon like architecture, but like more holes in it? That looks so similar to the Klingon map painting. They've just painted it. I was like,
but it's reused starbase, because there's another one I remember that we saw not that long ago, I think, where a shuttle lands there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember which one, but it looks exactly the same. So
it was the starbase that Wesley did something at.
Oh, the exam?
Maybe? No, it was after that. Wasn't it where Picard got his heart? Maybe that one?
No, not that one. No, it wasn't. It was longer ago than that. But anyway.
It just feels so clear to me.
Yeah. We find out there's 274 people assigned to the outpost, and apparently they're all dead. Yes.
But none of the tech has been touched.
Looks like they weren't interested in the station, just the people. So, and then we get attacked. Yes, we do.
Well, it's such a weird transition because it cuts from, oh my god, it's a door. The door opens. It's a Borg who doesn't move, and you're like, ah, a sort of jump scare. And then it goes to
But then he
ghost titles.
moves. Yeah, it does. And then he moves after the titles. He needed time, to let that happen. So, yeah, he starts firing.
Data murders him straight out. Like, doesn't even flinch, just murders the guy. Dead.
There's a lot of phaser fire back and forth. And then the Enterprise also gets attacked at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Big ship. Cool scale.
It's a huge ship, yeah.
And Geordie's on the bridge for some reason saying, yeah, diverted emergency power to shields from my little Council Troi station rather than engineering.
It makes more sense to be like a chief engineer's chair, even though there's the engineering stations back there. But it makes more sense to have that for somebody else other than the counselor.
It was just a weird directorial choice to put him there rather than do his normal thing of saying hi for engineering. Because he can't be anywhere as effective here. Yeah, just feels weird.
But then a Borg attacks Data, and then another one gets shot.
Data's stuntman, let's be fair.
Oh, yeah, it is definitely Data's stuntman. You definitely see that. Yeah, but then Riker kills one of the Borg, and one of the other Borg say, "You have killed Trophus. I will make you suffer for this." And you're like, what?
And another Borg's like, Klingon, I kill you. Human, I kill you. Like everyone.
Yeah,
and Worf's like, why is he yelling at the top of his lungs across a small corridor? I can hear everything he's saying. It's that sort of weird, like, I can hear everything. Dude, I can hear what you're saying. What? They're not that far away.
Yeah. Excuse me, I do have a sore throat still.
Sorry,
so I do have a cough candy in, just so you know.
Then Revenge and shoots Extra, who'd beamed down on purpose just to get murdered. And there's two of those in this episode that beamed down to get murdered.
Mm-hmm. That's very kind of them.
Yeah, they take the fire for everyone else. And he gets killed, and then Data gets choked, but has literally no effect of any kind, and the Borg doesn't realise that choking him has no effect, but keeps trying to choke him, to the point that Data then gets his arm off, saying, no, stop it, and then breaks his neck, and throws him against a wall, breaking his face, and then also plonks him against a wall, breaking his back of his head, and it's like, oh, cool, bit of violence, I guess.
Good on you, Data. And then the Borg beam up. Even they're dead. They don't disintegrate the dead. They even mention that later when they come on the bridge. And it's funny, you pointed that out to me the other day, that it was a different effect, and they left a mark on the carpet because they disintegrated. Yep. I always thought they just beamed them back to the ship, but now I know.
It took him 25 years, but I finally got him there.
Yeah, and then the ship departs, and it is huge.
Yeah, but it kind of feels appropriately huge. Like, I don't often say that, but it feels about the right scale to me. Like I like it this big. That's just me.
Sam likes them big, apparently. But yeah, then it enters a subspace distortion field. It creates a subspace thing in front of it, and then they disappear through it. Yeah. Which is a cool effect, actually.
It's very good. Very much like the Xindi effect. I can't remember what that's called. So what do you think of this whole sequence then before I go back and talk about it?
The fight's pretty good. The phaser fight is pretty visceral, as is, of course, Data's killing the Borg. So it's actually very well done, I think, except for the obvious stunt double. Because obvious stunt double was obvious. But other than that, it was good.
Yeah, this was a weird... I mean, again, I'm just trying to remove myself from knowing the plot, which is kind of hard. Because seeing the Borg do any... Like, as soon as I see him shoot, you're like, well, that's wrong. It seems so out of character. And I get the distinction... I mean, I know they don't know what they're doing exactly. But the way they move feels so wrong that it kind of, like, they could be any alien. I know they comment on that later. But just the fact that they move so fluidly and so movingly, like, and they shoot... just makes them feel so generic. Like they've just been like they're cosplayers that have put Borg makeup on. You know, it completely removes the Borg from them, which again is also the point. But it really is quite strange. But also they lose all their intelligence. All they are is just shooting down a corridor and getting hit and not doing. I mean, they feel basically pathetic and pointless. And that kind of diminishes. I mean, we keep seeing the Borg in TNG, and every time they get diminished with Hugh, they become less scary. These guys aren't remotely scary. I mean, they say they're vicious, but I'd love to see them be more of them and run and gun. I mean, if they can kill 212 people, presumably half of which are phasers after the initial engagement, is it because they're just shooting around corridors? It's like
274 people.
Well, there you go. I mean, it would have been nice to have seen or got a sense of numbers or and why aren't they assimilating people? You assume that would be one of their first strategies, because as soon as you assimilate somebody, they go on your side and your numbers, ranks improve. Shooting people seems such a weird thing to do. Like, they say they don't assimilate technology, but like people,
they don't want the people. They explain that in part 2. They want to get rid of the biological.
I haven't got to part
they
2
want to
yet.
be.
Sorry. So it just comes across as very strange and a bit jarring, and also they're bad aims, even though they're sort of robots as well. And then why doesn't the ship kill them or damage it? I don't know. It just feels very. I guess the entire. I mean, is this part? Is this part also a trap? Or once they learn about data, is that when the trap's sprung? Because this also feels like they're just there as cannon fodder to be noticed. Like almost they were killing planets just to get the attention of the Enterprise. You know what I mean? Like, at what point is this too easy? Because it's deliberately too easy. Because
well, it's good.
Yeah,
it's a good question, because later they do mention this. Why is it they're only attacking star or bases that we're close to, that we're the closest ship to? And I'm like, that's because it's a Star Trek trope. You're the only ship in the quadrant every time, guys.
But I think this must be the start of the trap, because otherwise Data wouldn't have been emotion chipped. Like, one of the Borg here has an emotion chip generator thing, so they're also waiting for Data to come on, because without the emotion chip, without this first encounter, the second encounter wouldn't work. So this must have been the first part of the trap. They must have been attacking things locally.
Yeah.
And so they all let themselves get killed easily, because it feels so lazy and dumb. It must be the first part of the trap.
We never get an explanation of that this is in fact the setup to get Data. And yeah, even the Borg that has the thing on his arm, how does that work in relation to lore? Like, but anyway.
But what do you think?
Neither here nor there.
By my idea, this is the first level of the trap.
Well, yes, if you put all the pieces together from this and part 2, yes. But it's never clearly stated and never clearly laid out that is, in fact, what's happening. So, it's... Yeah. I don't know. Not well done.
No, it's... Yeah. But, I mean, it's meant to be more chaotic, because that's the point. These guys don't have order, they have chaos. It's all part of the frantic, weird thing. And yeah, the choke bit's quite cool, though, just, yeah. And I liked Brent's acting, because it's kind of fun to see Brent not be Brent inside of... Or Brent be Data out of Data. And I like how, he channels something very unique here. Yeah, it comes across well. Yes. And the ship, and then the transwarp, and then, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then Riker's got the bedhead, and he's like, "What's going on, Data?" "Oh, I got angry." And that's that scene, pretty much. Then they go up to the conference room, and there's a voiceover from Picard saying, because of what happened with Data, he's removed himself from duty, so he can find out what's wrong. So he won't be helping us out, and that's why in the conference room, Data's not there. So he has to be asked to be temporarily removed from duty.
Also, can you speak up a little bit, because your background audio is coming through pretty loud, because you're not talking quite quiet. Or bring the mic close, because all I'm hearing is just lots of static.
I wouldn't call it static. Static is like...
Sorry, I'm hearing your heater loudly. And now I'm not hearing anything.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
right. That's because it's cold in Canada, and I'd rather not freeze to death. Thank you.
Yeah, just bring the mic closer. But look, Stuart, Troy's in uniform. That happened all of a sudden. Yes, I know when and why it happened, but in the context of this random rewatch. Look, there's Troi in uniform.
Yep. Doesn't impress me. Not enough cleavage.
She actually almost blends in too well now. You know, she loses her character almost. Having just watched all of them at these few, she just kind of like is now part of the bridge crew. She has lost her identity.
Yeah.
Which is not what I thought the first time I'm watching it.
Mm. But so they were fast, aggressive, almost vicious, these Borg.
Mm.
And I love when Riker's like, they were almost like fighting Klingons, not Borg. No offense. None taken.
Yeah. That's the best line, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Riker said it and then realized it and then said no offense. I don't think he had his words measured beforehand.
No.
But
yeah. Well, has he actually fought Klingons?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Don't know.
But we find out they were seem to be acting as individuals. Mm-hmm. And then it comes out the whole Borg, the only Borg that ever had a name, because they say this, they talked about the other Borg by name, was Hugh, and we gave him that name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just saw Hugh, so it feels. So it's really interesting to rewatch these as very much a literal like evolution of very specific like storyline. It's kind of useful actually. It's good.
Indeed. So we're down to Geordi and Data. Hold on, just give me a second.
Okay. Yep, Geordi and Data seeing if anything's wrong with him because yeah, he had an emotion. Confusing, but it turns out that no, neither technically or in Data's internal brain diagnostics can't see anything wrong, and they're both perplexed, and so they have this wonderful debate of what was it like then to have the emotion? Well, anger, I think it was anger, but I can't be sure. Could you describe anger, Geordi? And he's like, negativity, resentment. Like he keeps summarizing the emotion with other emotions. And he gets wonderful little pause where Data's like, would you mind explaining the emotion without using other emotions? And Geordi thinks for a second, like, no. I guess that's how emotions are. And Data's like, exactly. So I think I had an emotion, so I can't really explain it. But I know I felt it. But is it bad to feel anger? I don't know. And Geordi's like, maybe go try and find other non-violent emotions. That might be good. Maybe. Technically Borg do have names. Designations. Yes, everyone definitely did. Yeah. Then you get back to the Hood, the Excelsior class. And it's Admiral Nechayev, who I actually met again this year at Vegas. We have an interview with her. If any of you guys are going to be interested in watching that, that should be good. She was in several episodes, one of the most recurring admirals. She plays the hard ass, but everyone likes her, which is really quite cool. And she's basically saying, Jean-Luc, you let Hugo. Wasn't a good decision. Next time, you could kill a Borg. Kill them. He's like, well, Admiral, my conscience demanded that. No. That's an order. Do the right thing, Picard, you little shit. Thousands died because of you. Ordering. He's like, yes, Admiral. She's like, good. I'm only 5'1". You're much bigger than me, but I'm much bigger than you in rank. So, dick measuring, and she won.
Good way to put it. I hated her character so much.
Oh, I love her.
No, well, I like the person.
She was lovely, wasn't she?
Yeah, we had a nice chat with her in Vegas.
So lovely.
But yeah, I hate her character. She's got to stick up her ass, and it needs to be removed.
I mean, she's one of the 4 actors that ever actually wear their uniform, like at conventions, and that says something, you know.
Yeah.
What a lass. What a lass.
Did you say that there'd be 14 starships within the sector the day after tomorrow?
I didn't. Including.
Well, Picard's in charge of Task Force 3, which includes the Enterprise, the Crazy Horse, and the Agamemnon. So yeah.
And she will pilot the entire fleet on the USS Gorkon.
Yes.
Cute. So this is obviously post Star Trek 6, as we know, but that's kind of nice. I wonder if there's an IKS Kirk, and they just make fun of the captain. You're on the Kirk. You're on the Kirk.
Yeah. And this scene's important because it's a recap of Borg.
But from
in
the
case
other
you didn't watch
perspective,
our
which is
recap.
good. It's like
Yes.
the bigger. And do you want to mention anything about the Geordie and Data scene? I kind of went through it all. Do you have any thoughts, comments, questions?
Nope. I like the line. No offense, but how would you know a flash of anger from a random power surge?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, and I love the whole childlike way of, can you explain anger? Can you explain anger without using those other emotions? You dickhead, because you know that I don't understand emotions.
Basically.
But yeah.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
And 126 people watching, 75 likes. You know you want to click like. I'm daring you all to click like. But then we get... it's nice to see Councillor Troi actually counselling. And again, we're doing these out of order. I know all these things do happen. But it's nice to see Councillor Troi have an office and someone come to her for counselling. It might be the android you can't feel, but at least counselling. Yep.
Post your office a few times, so yeah.
But this is the first time in our scattered rewatch.
Yeah, and Data's like, I tried to, invoke other emotions. I even subjected myself to erotic imagery. And she's like, well, that's all very fine and nice, Data. And she's probably thinking, wonder what that included, but because I was.
Data, were you looking at me in the gymnasium again? No, Counselor.
Yeah. But she's like, well, those were all unsuccessful. Why have you been staying away from the one feeling you have experienced? Anger. Well, anger is a negative emotion. I don't want to be a bad person, essentially. It's a good little discussion. It's typical therapist stuff. So.
Yeah, no, it's a decent scene. It's interesting to see Data or Brent act this way. But it doesn't quite... But considering that we know that his emotions aren't from within, after the fact, these scenes really don't mean much. They're kind of wasted airtime. You know what I mean? They're a good setup in part 1, but they don't actually go anywhere. Like he doesn't learn to deal with his emotions in part 2. You know what I mean? He don't... Could have been used for time used for other things, I think.
Yeah. But it ends with, I had another emotion as well. I felt something. I believe it was pleasure. That's where that scene ends. It's like, so you might be a bad person.
Yeah, and that is legit. The way he acts that is very strong, and it does genuinely not give you chills, but it's like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, Eugene throws in 500 rubles, so thank you.
Hi, Eugene. Welcome.
Troi in uniform. What? Does she lose the accent as well? Gradually, yes. Well, she does for the movies, right?
She does for the movies. Gives up on that in her, 10 to 15th year in the franchise, yeah.
I'll have to see if it's back in Picard.
Yeah. Having not done that accent for another 20 years.
Yeah.
But now, red alert, Stuart, red alert, quick, everyone, go ahead. As Picard gently walks out of the ready room at a very leisurely pace. Quick, warp 9, says Riker. Oh, no, never mind. We're not being under attack, don't worry.
Well, it's New Berlin colony, says they're under attack. Warp 9 will be 15 minutes and 39 seconds. I love when they do that kind of thing. Cancel red alert, misidentified a Ferengi cargo ship. That's the 3rd time today. Mr. Worf, transmit another copy of Starfleet ship recognition protocols and tell them to actually read it this time.
Yeah. It's a great.
Oh, it's great.
It's a great nonsense moment. It's kind of filler. I think they knew they wanted to end on lore, and invented some moments in between to help nudge it to the end of the episode. I think that's probably a mistake in retrospect. I get why, but this is a good scene, but again, the payoff isn't good. So these great setup moments just fall flat now. I know that already, having not watched part 2 for a while, but, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was a nice little scene.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we get a shot of the Enterprise. We've been on patrol now for 16 hours.
Yeah.
So
we're all bored.
And we get Picard watching some really good...
Well, hold on. If you look at this shot of the Enterprise D, that looks quite like the shot from Picard. It's just not chromey, the way it's lit.
Yeah.
Only being lit from one direction, hitting both things and the deflector. That's actually very similar to Picard. And it looks too dark and not as good just without the chrome. But the silver, I mean, the signal hull does look less colourful. So, you know, that's quite interesting, isn't it? You happen to see a shot that looks quite like it. Weird. Weird.
Then we get Picard is watching Borg. Thought that was a good episode. They decided to rewatch it.
Remastered in 4K by that point.
Yeah. And it's the scene where Hugh gets his name.
The awkward scene.
I'm Beverly. He's Geordi. And you... That's it. Hugh. Yeah. So another Borg recap. And Riker comes in and says, yeah, so we analyzed what happened to the ship. There's an artificially created energy conduit.
Yep.
Picard's like, well, this could be anything. I don't want excuses, number one. I want answers. And immediately, I'm sorry. Because Riker gives them who the fuck you talking to?
Yeah, it's like, sir, that was a reason, not an excuse. I hate when people force those sorts of things. It's like, no, you're being a dick. Nothing he said justifies what you just said.
Yeah.
But they do say tensions are running extra high.
And then he talks about letting Hugh go. Said it may turn out that the moral thing to do was not necessarily the right thing to do.
And you know how I talked about that in last week's Borg about every person that dies after this is the fault of Picard. I mean you can't really go anything below that. If you could destroy them and don't, everyone that dies is their fault.
Actually, it's all Beverly's fault.
Well, it's all their fault.
It's all Beverly and Geordi's fault. The captain takes the blame because this is what captains do. He didn't even say to the admiral, you know what, I didn't want to do this, but we ended up doing it. He didn't throw anybody under the bus when the admiral was there, so I would have.
But it's a nice line though. It's like morally right and. What was the line again? Sorry, you said it.
It may turn out that the moral thing to do was not necessarily the right thing to do.
Yep. So that I think is a better way of summing up than we've got an Borg. It's like morally this is good, but it doesn't mean it's actually the right course of action that will mean the right thing. And I mean now you know that because of Hugh, all these colonies get killed. So Picard is responsible for the death of all these colonies. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if that was actually, you know what I mean? Would have been nice if that was probably a bit too X-rated and our heroes suck a bit. But I mean, so is, every time you don't kill an alien when you should. It's just the Borg are a little bit different, They're not just, I let the criminal go that might reoffend. It's like I let the guy go to races killing billions every minute. It's like a little bit different. A little bit different.
All right, so we got a super chat from Jarzia, $5. A TNG episode inside a TNG episode.
Dang.
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. That's funny. What is this? Star Trek Inception.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. I like it.
Now we're down on the holodeck. Well, Geordi goes down. Data's trying to reenact the situation to evoke the emotion again, and it's just not working. So it increases the Borg's strength by 20%. Tries it again, doesn't work. Increases it by 30%, and the holodeck says it can't be done because of the safety protocols. Then we find out that the holodeck requires the voice authorization of 2 senior officers to override the safety routine. So, Geordi, will you help me? If my life isn't at risk, it might. That's the reason that maybe it happened, because I was actually in, risk of being killed.
Which is actually a really great point. I mean, that's pretty much. If there's no adrenaline, then why would you? It's like the Kobayashi Maru. You're never actually scared. It's like who's? I mean, some video games maybe, but most video games not actually scared if a monster comes out. Or if you play Call of Duty Zombies, not actually scared that zombies are going to kill you, unless it's a situation where they kind of you kind of get into it a bit. But this is a good scene because they get to reuse the sets. Good reuse of budget, which I like, which is probably why they put more money into them, because they were going to get more minutes of screen time. I love Brent's disconnected acting here. The contrast is beautiful. One is done as a motive, doesn't know how to deal with it, Data, and one is just Data. He's like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Didn't work. I love it. It's cleverly written.
Yeah.
Although again, it has no payoff because they don't do the safety protocols and they leave.
Yeah.
There's no payoff.
Because Geordi's like, yeah, if I'm your friend, I want to keep you safe. Because Data says, it's my life. I can risk it if I choose. It's like, no, that's not quite how it works. But anyway, then red alert is sounded. And this is where the line comes in. Doesn't it seem strange to you that there have been 2 Borg attacks and the Enterprise has been the closest ship in both instances? To which I laughed and said, welcome to Star Trek. It's just convenient that the Enterprise or the hero ship is nearby all the time. So,
yeah. They finally.
But yeah.
They finally worked it out.
And so they encounter the ship and. Oh, sorry.
Well, I just said again, no payoff from the scene.
They encounter the pretty much, yeah. A disturbance forms in front of the ship, and they basically follow it and get sucked into the thing as well. And it's a really cool, trippy tunnel. I didn't think that tunnel was in this episode. I thought this was in the one where they're like hovering above the thing, and it's like sucking them in, and then decide to turn and go down.
Well, I mean, it's the same tunnel. We've already watched that one. It's the same tunnel effect. I mean, they just reuse it 5 years later, surely.
It just doesn't seem like a transwarp corridor.
No, I agree. It's just like, oh, we've got this cool thing. I mean, this one I was thinking that they could have always done a quick remaster and replaced it with a green tunnel a la Voyager.
Yeah.
I'd have happily rendered a 4K scene file for them of transwarp. It's fine. I could do it.
One of the best things about this scene, though, is a little bit of, because I just wrote a script about the impulse engines. It says transfer because they're going to get away. And Picard says transfer auxiliary emergency power to the impulse engines. And Data says the impulse engines are now at 125%. I love that. Because in Star Trek Bridge Crew, even the ops station where Data is, you can put people in certain positions to increase the power to sensors or whatever. I think that's great.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing necessarily. That's cool. Yeah, flies by. You get the synonymous stabilized footage, which shows that they're just and you got a great still here of Brent moving, and he looks so mean, like pissed off in the middle frame. He's like ugh. It's a little bit funny there. But yeah, they instantly are out. Quick short thing, although since we know how transwarp works, I'm not sure how these tunnels make sense. I guess they pre-open tunnels and keep them open.
Yeah,
I guess
it's not clear.
But it is transwarp.
Yeah, because later the Enterprise is like, oh, we're going to try to create the thing. Oh, it's not working. Try it on the other setting. Oh, that's not working. Alternate between the two. Now it's opening. And then they tell Beverly, go back, like just do that to get back to Federation space. But she takes the entire ship somewhere to the corridor entrance. It's like, what the hell is going on? It didn't say it had to be in a specific spot.
Well, I mean, the sense is that it's just literally a tunnel between two spots, like a wormhole that they've created and are sustaining, and therefore you can go in and out of that. It's kind of like in Voyager when everyone's beamed into this museum, and obviously the door's hidden. But once you know where the door is, you can now go through it at will if you know how to open it. So they've made this tunnel, and they do. I mean, in this graphic, at one point they do show the Delta Quadrant, but they say they've only gone 95 light years. So, was that a remaster re-edition, do you think? Because it's explicitly Delta Quadrant, but there's no Delta Quadrant-ness.
It wasn't 93 light years. It was 65 light years from our previous position.
Yeah, so it's not... I always thought it was very far, but it wasn't. I mean, that's like...
No, it's not that far.
I mean, okay, it's still a while to get there. But it's weird. I mean, we'll get there, hopefully we'll get there, but it's weird to see, like, Delta Quadrant and then... No mention. Oh, Stuart, 144 people watching. But
everybody get like.
I like it.
The ship turns, fires at them, and this is cool. It's not really a weapon because it hits.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is a weapon. It's hard to. I got the impression that they were kind of in the whatever hit the ship. That's why they materialized on the ship. But it could be that they lowered the shields and then beamed them in. But anyway, some Borg come on board, and they start shooting up the place like drunk sailors. And Franklin gets shot and killed. Poor Franklin.
Yes.
And the Borgs all get killed except for one of them. And then the ship is gone.
Yes.
It was used as a distraction, essentially, which is kind of cool. I love that tactic. It's like beam an armed party on board and then bugger off. But this is another change in the Borg's behavior. They have left the dead behind. Instead of vaporizing them, they actually say it.
Yeah.
This one is still alive. So.
And this is a whole weird sequence. I found it very odd that, you know, they go after the ship. You know, rare. Considering when we first saw the Borg, right, that they couldn't win. Escape or die. And the best of both worlds. We cannot win, lost entire fleet. This ship, I mean, do you ever get a sense of threat and of nervousness and of, oh no, the ship is heavily armed, it could take us out? You know what I mean? It never had, at least in part 1. I know it's better in part 2, but it's like there's no threat value for the ship in part 1. I don't understand that. I completely ignore that. What do you think?
I agree. I love the size of the ship. It does seem menacing, but at the same time, the ship is never really menacing, even in part 2. It's just it should be. It should be something scary. It's a Borg ship essentially.
Yeah.
Does it have the tractor beams? Does it have the assimilators, the cutters, whatever?
I mean, I really wish they had, because I mentioned a fleet, right, several times. As if they need 15 ships to take on this ship, and yet they just brazenly go in one-on-one where they know they cannot win. This part onwards, when they start actually finding the ship, this part, the story gets muddled with, we have to go see Lore. Doesn't matter how we get there, doesn't matter if it makes sense or not, if it paces well, we have to get to Lore. And it starts to go downhill. The setup becomes just, we need to get there for episode 2 to happen. I think that's a real shame. They didn't let it organically happen or even strategically happen, which I think is a real shame. But yes, they'd be on board. I like to think that the pulse was a variation of what they used in IQ, where it hurts the shield power, but instead of hurting it, it like disables it for a split second enough to beam on board. So it's like an alternate of that, and that's why it beams aboard.
Yeah.
But it boggled my mind. They only did 2. It's like they could have beamed 100 Borg, 1 on each deck, and just massacre people or go engineering. It's such a pathetic attack. But again, the only reason this attack happens is to get a Borg on the ship that's alive. That's the only reason this attack happens, because the ship doesn't need to escape because it can defeat them. It's another contrived plot point of just, we need to get a Borg on board. But how do they know that the one guy with the device wasn't get murdered? Because he was shot to get killed, but for some reason the kill blast didn't kill him, but it killed his friend. Okay, why be only 2? That's not a very good diversion because it's 2. What? It's just not well written. And he dodges a phaser blast, Stuart. Dodges a phaser blast, and yeah, instantly he gets reshot. It's so not well done. A lot of these scenes, just not well done. This is not written by a good sci-fi writer. This is written by a guy who wants to get to part 2. And I'm going to search who wrote this because it's not well written.
That's what I mean. This is the end of the season, and it's like everybody's just like, I want to go home. It's like the last day of school. You just want to go home for summer vacation because you don't get any sense of like the actors aren't.
Oh no! Well, except Dayton.
They're not embracing the characters. Not really. It's just that's why one of the reasons I think it's so forgettable for me. It's just there's no substance
and poor scenes. So this one. Wikipedia says that Ronald D. Moore, the teleplay, was of part 1, but written part 2 was Rene Ruda. But teleplay is not the same as written by, and it clarifies written by as the other guy. So that's kind of confusing then, because that, Ronald D. Moore can do better than this, but it doesn't explicitly he wrote it. So I'm not really sure who wrote. I mean, they might have written both at the same time, and therefore it's kind of like teleplay and then written. Story by Jerry Taylor, famous Ronald D. Moore teleplay. Directed by Alexander Singer, who also did Relics, Descent 2, Gambit 2, Homeworld, Threshold, The Swarm, Resolutions, Nemesis, from Voyager, listing Voyager there. But yeah.
Thribs says, was this one film last? Probably not. I was just kind of giving you my sense of how it felt. Yeah. Like they're all on set, like the last day, just going, let's just get this scene done. Oh yeah, it didn't seem good, especially for season 6. Yeah. It doesn't hold up to the other ones.
Well, it's because they need to get to part 2. All the dialogue is just to get to part 2. There's very little character stuff, really. It's just.
Well, they were trying to do another successful cliffhanger episode to match Best of Both Worlds and some of the other ones they've done, and it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't have that gravitas. It's just kind of like eh. And
if this is Law's only last time, so you also would think that'd be pretty epic, right? So it was filmed filmed April 1999. The one before this was filmed. Doesn't say. The one before that. No, there's not enough information. Don't know. It's probably filmed nearly last, but yeah, not great.
Yeah. But anyway, the Borg is alive, so we get him down in the brig. Can you wake him? Yes, but it's risky. Do it. And she's reluctant, but she does it anyway.
And they just gently walk out of the room with very little sense of danger, even though you'd assume he'd get up, start shooting, start simulating. Nope. He's like, what? What is going on? So unlike Borg. It's amazing.
Well, I love the Bajoran brig officer. Never noticed him before. Nice. But anyway, the Borg, his name is Croesus. How'd you get your name? It was given to me by the One.
Neo. Whoa.
Now it's never actually answered either. Is the One Lore or is the One Hugh?
Oh no, it's Lore, 100%. Because in the next one, he's depicted as the savior that found them and brought them back together. At this point, Hugh's just one of the cube that was found, who's now being a resistance leader. No, 100%. Lore is the One. Lore's the god. He says Lore can help you find emotion. I mean, yeah, Lore is the one that is their savior. As the Borg Queen, close to perfection than they are.
But he's never referred to as the One. So it's still questionable, whether it's Hugh or Lore, in my opinion. But
no question in my mind.
I believe you that it's lore, but it's never clarified, and that's sloppy.
Well, is it maybe lore reloaded?
No. Eugene puts in 500 rubles.
Dang.
Damn, not only I remember just random bits from this, but I've completely forgot it was a season finale. Yeah. It's not season finale worthy, but so the Borg goes on to say, we do not assimilate inferior biological organisms, we destroy them. And then everybody leaves except for Data. Well, he talks about the Klingon, you can kill you by hitting you here.
That was
human,
good. That was
third vertebrae.
That's lines.
But then they leave, and Data's left, and he says, you can be assimilated.
Yeah.
Data's like, I do not wish to be assimilated. The One can help you feel real emotion. Yeah, there's the One. The One can help you feel it. Yeah, so it does answer it. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99. Never realized the brig officer was a Bajoran. Neither did I. Then he goes on to kind of egg Data, but he says, did it feel good to kill? Do you do anything to feel that way again, even if it meant me having to kill someone? Do you have a friend? Yes, his name is Geordi. Would you kill him to feel that again? Yes, I would. And while he's talking to him, he activates a little node on his arm. And yeah, like no dampening field in the brig. I mean, Data looks at it and kind of like, what's that? But then I guess the emotions start taking hold. It just... Do they all have the node in case they get captured? Like, what the hell?
This is honestly
a lot of stupidity.
This is close to a Discovery episode where things just happen because they have to, because plot. And this is what we talk about. This is not a well created episode. Now because of how much time, and also Kroos is a great name. For some reason, I think he's in part 2, isn't he? Like as a
yes, he is. Yeah, he's in part 2 quite a bit.
Yeah, I always got the sense he's like the henchman of Lore, and therefore he was entrusted with it, which kind of answers why he has it. But I mean,
but how is it convenient that he was the only one not killed?
I mean, I did.
Did he have a shielding system?
See, exactly. None of them try to adapt. I can't imagine adapting is all based on the hive. I'm sure they can have an interlinked Wi-Fi network to link themselves. So maybe he knew the frequency enough to block maybe the first battle, because I mean, remember they did take Borg bodies. If they were clever, they could have said he adapted enough to take the hit, which is only a subtle shield effect, like it wasn't visible because it's so subtle, just to make it stun or badly stun rather than whatever because of the other bodies, and that'd be fun.
It's still convenient as hell.
Well, why? I mean, they try to kill him, they know the setting, you just don't... It's like Kevlar. Oh no, the bullet didn't really kill me. Play dead, and then, look, I'm awake. Beep, beep, beep. I mean, you can kind of make that connect if it's a good plan, because again, this is the plan. This is the plan, is to get Data. But let's jump back a second. I gotta say, I like this new suited Borg look. Like the full body. He's no longer just a bit of body and lots of lycra black suit. You've now got kind of six-pack motif for some reason, the Borg abs, and a lot more plastic. But I mean, the look is a lot more refined. I know we're a couple of years old.
Locutus had the Borg abs.
He did. It was a demand by Patrick. He was like, I want those abs, damn it.
See? I am Locutus of Borg. I have a six-pack.
He says that again in this episode. But I think this is actually quite a good midway evolution. They've obviously evolved quite a bit, and definitely a lot less pipes. They've really moved away from just a ton of piping. Although his face makeup, his makeup's quite good. Although the eyepiece is boring as hell, or it is doing a little shimmering. I think it's like a lens. I think it's like a photo, from a camera that click lens. The shutter of a lens. I think it's like a lens that's just rotating and doing little things.
No, it's an LCD display.
Oh yeah.
They have the exact same thing on Worf's lapel, which never works.
Wow.
But it's the same thing. It's an LCD display screen. It's got a thing pattern it goes through.
Oh, okay, cool. But it definitely looks better than Hugh in terms of full body, effects work. And I quite like this scene because of Brent's performance. It shifts so radically, and seemed kind of keep a handle on this. But it's so contrived as obviously this guy's been picked, this guy's been trained, this guy knows exactly what to say, this guy knows like everything about this is I'm leading you into a trance, Data. You're leading me into a trance, Data. No, you're Data. No, I'm Data. Yes, Data. What? You know what I mean? It's very like a giant mind trick, this scene. And there's definitely not enough sort of explanation or build up. And I think that the leap from, and have you got a friend, Data? Yes. Would you kill him? Yes. It's like, where'd the friend thing come from? It's so random and out of the blue. Should we kill somebody? Would you kill a friend? Yeah, it's so random and so instant. They just want to up this scale of the scene, even though, it doesn't quite play. It feels inorganic, which I mean it is in a sense because it's a ploy, it's a plan, it's a trap. Yeah, it's weird. I'm sure there's. I think in season. Well, I guess next season, but there's more explanation as to how this signal thing affects Data. But obviously, it's doing a lot more than just raising his emotions, because he does sort of change his personality. It's kind of like when the Equinox EMH, removes his ethical subroutines. Then he can do anything. Ha 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 ha. Kind of feels like that again, or I guess before.
Yes. Well, we have a super chat from Jars. You got $5.
Hey,
Picard, Borg, yank plastic tube sticking out of the head. Death is immediate. Process. Shut up. I love that because Jeff Jacobs puts in $2, 100 likes. Great job, all. Thanks. Let's get to 150. Hashtag make Jeff pay. Everybody hit that like button. Let's do it. And
although, didn't you think it was odd that that Data says saying we're at a program for me to be ethical? Because when you break down like that, all he's doing is following a program, a computer program. That's not his own decision making. He's just following basically Asimov's laws, but in a more advanced way. All they have to do is turn that off, and he becomes a murderous guy. I mean, that makes him feel way less advanced, way less. You know what I mean? It's very much just, I'm just following a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that, but I mean, he is just programs. But I mean, programs adapt. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Yeah. Anyway, next scene, we're on the bridge, and we find out that the speed that they went was at least 20 times faster than their maximum warp.
And there you go, extrapolation, termination, Delta Quadrant. So I guess they went to the Delta Quadrant and then back just to tell them about the Delta Quadrant? Because it says termination. Don't know. Let me go look, see if that's the...
don't know.
Let me see if that's a remastered thing. I feel like that must have been a remastered thing. An IC story doesn't quite make sense.
Hold on here. I'm having some computer issues. So.
Oh wow, SD is very, very uncrisp. Jeez. You forget how not good it is. It's not good. Looking at the scene now. What does it say? It says Delta Quadrant. Nope. Yep. That's weird. Okay. Shall I keep going?
Yeah. I just won't have any pictures. I'll have to follow the feed. That's fine. It's okay. But then there's an unauthorized shuttlecraft launch. And the shuttle is trying to open a transwarp corridor.
The thing is, it's not, though. It's trying to get access to one that's already there. I don't know. Why is Data picking the smallest shuttle possible with the least comfort? The least efficient choice is the smallest one, surely.
Because they don't need comfort.
Yeah, but they need warp speed.
It's irrelevant.
They need strong impulse. This is the lowest impulse grade of any of the shuttles. Surely pick the fastest for most efficient. Because I can imagine the Borg walks into the shuttle bay. Which one shall we take, Data? That one. But that one's the smallest one. Yes, it is. But that one has bigger engines. Yes, it does. Okay. Most is personal yacht sort of thing. But yeah, very abrupt. They're leaving.
There we go.
Okay. And they escape.
Yes.
Okay. Like,
and it's Commander Data's overrides that were used to disable the tractor beam because they tried to tractor the shuttle. Was he forced to do it? Did he go willingly? We don't know at this point.
I would have assumed, and this was like a missing like script thing. They don't even bother calling down to the brig to say, hello brig, Mr. Bajoran, what happened?
Are you alive, Mr. Bajoran? You should have been reporting in by now.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, what happened? I assume he just let him go, and then Data punched the Bajoran, and then walked through. I mean, do you really think he could walk through the halls of the Borg and not be stopped? You know what I mean? I mean,
Depends where the brig is in relation to the shuttle bay.
I know, but you know what I mean? It sounds so ridiculous when he, like, how did he make a jailbreak without anyone noticing?
Mm.
You know, that should have been more, you know, more examined a little bit, or could have been a cool scene or whatever. But no, he just abruptly leaves, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then within about, what, 45 seconds to a minute, Geordi managed to work out how to replicate the exact same frequency of the shuttle.
Well, they'd been working on it for a while since they went through the first time, so that's how they calculated. Well, that's one of the ways they used to calculate the speed. So they were working on it.
And I'm sure, obviously, once they see a Federation ship doing the signature, they've then got, you know, a better grasp of how their deflector can do it. Although,
yeah, so he tries the one thing and then he tries the other, and then it works. So they alternate the tachyon bursts, and that does it.
Yes. And again, I was thinking here, dudes, could you please bring a fleet going into an unknown corridor, into an unknown region with an unknown force of unknown ships? Don't know if data's been compromised or not. Could you
don't
bring
have the time to wait?
Well, yeah, but is it worth dying? It's like, is it worth releasing a bad product if you could wait and be better? Is it worth sending a ship and getting blown up? Because it's, you know what I mean, it's such a non-argument. Because just get more ships.
Yeah, but they have already gone through this once to follow the ship, so who knows where they are? First of all, they might not even be anywhere. It might be weeks before ships could get there. Follow them while you can.
Yeah, but they could go to the Delta Quadrant and be stuck.
Yeah, but that's what you sign up for with Starfleet. So
I guess
it doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
Anyway, so they travel 65 light years from their previous position, but they can't find the shuttle. And then, for some reason, they're able to scan 3 systems. It must be close systems, because indications of 2 advanced civilizations and no life signs.
Yep.
Just evidence of plasma weapons having been fired recently. Mm-hmm. We found the shuttle.
Yep.
That's pretty much how the scene goes.
It's such a poor, like, oh, it's impossible. Oh, we did it. Oh, we did it. Great. It's like, okay. Cool. And then I'll skip it ahead a second. And then when they actually get to the shuttle, they're like, God, the engine's been off for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I mean, you understand, writer, that the shuttle's impulse is slow. The Enterprise impulse is fast. They had a 2-minute head start on the same corridor. So how do they have a 3-hour head start? It makes no sense. It's completely nonsensical. Now I guess you could say the conduit let them out early. Data's able to maneuver the corridor to get closer. But then why would they park far away from the base? Why would they park 3 hours away from the base? Or, you know, however many hours away from the you know, if you care about being close, you know, and then what, the corridor...
Well, them parking there makes no sense, but the 3 hours could make sense because they came out of the conduit, they did their scans and search for everything, and then find the shuttle. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's in one scene, though. There's no time gap in the scene.
I know.
I mean, it plays as seconds, not even minutes. So that's a really terrible... I mean, this is where I think the plot takes a massive dive bomb. Like, massive, and the entire thing kind of just falls apart from here onwards. It's just like, oh, we got to go there. And then it gets worse. It gets progressively worse from here on. And all of the cool intrigue is less impressive as it goes on.
Well, Shannon Nash puts in $5.
Thank you.
I always saw it as Lore was transmitting more than just emotions, but also his thought patterns, engrams. I guess like android brainwashing.
Yeah, I can see that.
But anyway, take a well-armed away team down. Yeah, and then they find the shuttle. Engines have been off for 3 hours.
Why do they have to go? What's special about the planet? What's the MacGuffin?
Oh, the EM interference. We've already
Super
talked
high.
about this with the other planet. Yes. This is where it gets stupid with a decision in a second.
Yeah, but I mean, I like that I like the EMs there because it's a great place to hide because they can't detect anything on the planet. It's completely unscannable. which is great. Perfect place to hide. They're in Federation space. They can hide. Perfect. Brilliant. Especially as Borg now with life saving science, not part of the objective. But they do scan it and do get the shuttle, even though they can't scan it. I don't know.
Well, they probably they detected the impulse missions from the shuttle going to that planet, so they found the shuttle.
Okay, sure.
But yes, anyway, then all of a sudden he asks his data stand-in Picard. He says to Geordi, "So how far can they walk in 3 hours?" Well, Data's fast over rough terrain. The Borg not so much, just like us. So 15 to 20 kilometers maybe from the shuttle by now. So, okay. And now for the dumbest fucking decision in Star Trek history, in my opinion.
Again, one second, so we're jumping through a lot of little things here. But hold on to that for one more second. They beam down this heavily armed away team, right? Even though, heavily armed, you seem to be the heaviest armed you can be. Even though in about 2.5 scenes they have phaser rifles. So they're not as heavily armed as they could be. They don't bother having phaser rifles, even though I thought they weren't invented yet. That's why I thought, no, they're not in it yet. Nope, they just don't have phaser rifles. And what a dumb thing even to beam this. I mean, why isn't this a trap? Why aren't there 50 Borg surrounding them going to shoot them? And they also say, how do you have a permanent lock on them? Don't you always have permanent lock on them, Chief? Sorry, there you go. Just some small points of another dumb little scene.
Yeah, like the transporters can lock on through the EM interference, no problem.
Yeah, they presented it as a sort of
which we'll get to later.
Oh, and Geordi forgot to realise that, the Borg is slower, but they were fast Borg. So I bet that Borg can run as fast as Data right now. They didn't factor that in.
But anyway, here comes a stupid decision.
Yes.
I want you to set up a command post and beam down additional away teams. Use shuttles for low-level mapping and searching. I love that. That's fantastic. But all available personnel, including you and me, Geordi, will make up 4-man away teams. We're going to leave a skeleton crew on board the ship and nobody with any fucking experience. We're going to put Beverly in charge. With an enemy ship in the area that is huge, massive, and we don't even know what it's capable of. Wouldn't it make more sense to keep senior staff on the ship? They would go down to a skeleton crew. I was going, what? Yeah, I understand you can't scan the surface. The away teams can't scan very far. But why are you sending your most experienced people down in this situation? Just doesn't work for me. And look out to our radio. Puts in 2 pounds, a little bit more for the Trekyards wine. Thank you very much. So, your thoughts on this?
This is when the episode takes a plunge. Like, it just lowers point after point after point. Because at this point, you're thinking, okay, what are they going to do? And it's like, you want to send almost all of the crew into Borg-infested waters without any scanning ability.
Don't know how many Borg are down there.
No idea. You don't know how many ships are around. If your ship gets destroyed, whatever. Most of your crew are scientists, therefore not equipped for combat anyway. You have shuttle. You say you do shuttle things. You understand that one shuttle can do, those 20 kilometers in several minutes, if not seconds. Ground teams are pointless. You only have 100 shuttles or 45 or whatever. Send all your shuttles, fine. With 3 people on, fine. You don't need to send 800 people.
I do like how he says get the best pilots. There's a line in there about get the best pilots for the shuttles and have that organized. And that it seems like it's a great plan. And then the next words out of his mouth are the away teams.
But it's
of 4 people.
The shuttles are the only thing you need to send. The people are pointless. I mean, you see Deanna struggle up a little hill. The shuttle will go, vroom. Oh, they're not in this bit.
Oh, look, a building.
Yeah, well, that in a second. It's there's no reason. It's the most pathetic, contrived. I must go now. Because I'm in the next episode on a planet. Also, it's just for Data. You don't do this. You imagine, right? Same thing. The Defiant warps into Dominion territory and beams down the entire crew just to find O'Brien in a Dominion war camp. No. Or Kirk. Let's beam down everyone, including the botany people, to find... No. Nothing on... Nothing is completely nonsensical. And it shows just piss poor everything. Completely nonsense. Yeah. It just turns the episode into total garbage plot-wise. Now
We're going to put a doctor in charge in command of the ship, and we're going to have ensigns on the bridge. But that's in the next episode.
just do the shuttles. You have dozens of shuttles. You know, and I'm pretty sure from height you can see the building from like 50-mile vicinity. You know what I mean? Like you can. I'm pretty sure there's still. I mean, unless there's clouds, they can just do a visual scan from orbit. I mean, how the NX-01 zoomed into a person, right? Just do that. There's a shuttle. Here's 50 miles. Have the computer just move forwards and backwards until you see something. Oh, look, it's a structure. Nonsense. Total nonsense. Just get him off the bridge. And yes, Captain Beverly.
So if they attack the Enterprise, just go through the transwarp corridor
and
back to Federation
all of our
space.
Crew.
Assuming that you can get away from them.
And don't you think Beverly would say, I could save the 30 people aboard or the 800 on the planet? Surely her oath would say, no, I'll stay and protect everyone. Because, people to save. Yes, I'll abandon 800 people.
Anyway, they take a nice break climbing up this hill, and Troi gets to the very top and lounges down.
What? You missed the phaser rifles? There are phaser rifles! And everybody is in this little vista. It's like, what? Why? Shuttles! Yes, then the hill.
Yeah, so she lounges down. They have a little conversation about whatever, and then she's like, "I think I found something." You think you found something? No, that's a building, bitch. You found a building. You didn't think you found something. You see a building. Why did you not see that when you got to the top of the hill and kind of lounged down before? Just.
Yep. It's really, really poorly done. And even just what's the point of again, it's another filler line. It's like, right, we've got 3 minutes runtime left. Okay, have Picard suggested to Geordi a plan that he says won't work. And it's never referenced again. No point. Completely superfluous, and clearly they're not traversing space as fast as a shuttle would. What is the bloody point?
Yeah.
And also we would have Geordi off. Each senior officer would lead a team because they're more experienced. Why are 3 of them in one away mission and one away team? We've got 800 people doing the away team.
Because it's the captain's away team. That's why.
But you know what I mean? 800 people. You haven't got that many senior officers by definition. Like a third of the crew is unlisted or whatever. And yes, the building, which you would have seen, and they just casually walk up. And Stuart, what is with this planet having a yellow midday sun at all times? It looks like
it's a different sun or a different atmosphere. I had no issues with that, except I hate the color. I can't watch it. It just feels like somebody pissed on the negative.
It feels like they're filming at one specific time of day, like dusk. Not dusk, but you know what I mean? Like the light's at a certain angle to create a certain effect. It's like, okay.
It's just filtered, I think.
Oh, yeah. And then you get the building.
But Eugene throws in 250 rubles.
Thank you.
Let's split the main cast. The ones who sign off for the next season survive. Yeah, you could have killed anybody here for season 7.
Yeah.
But
and then they see the building, they walk up to the building, and there's no sense of danger, of risk, of talking to the crew, of getting resources, of maybe getting the shuttles to fly over and, have their phasers targeted.
They didn't even message anybody saying we found something.
No, let's just...
I mean, but later they did, because if you watch episode 2, it's like, yeah, they just found a building. So it just wasn't on screen. They did communicate the fact that they found something.
It's so lazily paced here that there's no tension. It's like this is theoretically a Borg stronghold. Like we know it's lore, so we know the threat's not there. But remember these Borg I said earlier were as vicious as Klingons, and they're just sauntering. It's really played so pathetic. They just walk in the room. It's like dooba dooba doob doob. Oh look, a room. This isn't totally
Borg symbols and Borg flags and Borg tiles on the floor.
Well, this is the first time we see the Borg symbol, I think, isn't it? So
probably.
This is one of those little retcons of could have been Renegade Borg signal symbol, but it does appear on later Borg ships, so it's kind of like and then.
Well, I have the feeling this wasn't built by the Borg either, because they ask, is it was built by the Borg? Well, I see no Borg construction materials, so.
No, they just killed everyone on the planet and took the building, 100%.
Yeah.
They just painted the floor.
But then somebody opened the bag of Skittles and poured them, Borg, and poured them all out over the floor.
Well,
because they all come out.
Well, no, you get a little trap moment because Dory's like, "Sir, this is really weird. There's no because they say many times there's no EM signatures on the entire planet. I can't detect anything." And they're in a room with lights, and he's like, "Sir, these lights don't generate any signatures."
Oh, yes.
Must be a dampening field, which is like
There's no power.
so obviously it's they're dampening everything, which is a good way of having a trap. It's just you think these people will be more smart on a planet they know is infested with Borg, probably. And yes, all the Borg jump out, and then Mr. Dude gets murdered and has a response time of 45 seconds to shoot back, but he gets killed.
And then Lore's there, and he's wearing his muscle suit, which looks stupid as hell. But well, they think it's Data, but Troi knows it's not Data.
Not sure how. She can't sense emotion.
Because she can sense Data in the next one. She goes, "I sense feelings from you, Data." That's why. So she probably sensed two people.
But then
I'm just telling you what's in the next episode, man.
She can sense emotions from Data, so she can sense artificial emotions in a construct body.
That's being sent to him via Lore, yeah.
So shouldn't she be able to have sensed the emotions of the dead guy that was in Data's brain earlier? Because they were some more real emotions, surely. And she didn't.
Yeah. But anyway, the Sons of Soon have joined together, and together we will destroy the Federation.
And it just kind of ends.
Yep. Jarzia, $2. Troi, Captain, I think I found Camp Kittimer. That's funny.
Yeah. And this end is actually terrible. Because, first of all, we just saw Data and Lore together with the dad, and we know they're not going to work together, so this feels disingenuous. Also, the way Brent plays Data is so similar to Lore that it feels like copycat boring. In this one little bit, there's no nuance between the two of them. It's really, like, plain. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. And then they destroy the Federation. You're like, you can't do that, bro. Cut to credits. It's like, dude, you can't do that. And why? Why would you want to kill the Federation? Why would Lore care? You know? Nothing in that scene has any reason or motivation.
It gets explained in the next episode.
But yeah, I'm just saying as a part one, it ends like, oh. Okay.
And Brad is here. Hey, Brad, how's it going? I see you.
And so ends part one. A very disappointing end, anticlimactic, uninteresting, even though it's the big epic payoff.
And the season 6 finale, which season 6 has some fantastic episodes.
Yep.
This one nobody was paying attention to anything.
It just keeps going downhill.
So much.
You know?
So much epic stuff happens if you like describe this episode to somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, Lore comes back and there's Borgs that are all individividuals, and oh my god, there's this brand new ship and it's huge and it uses this new transport corridor. Oof. Yeah, and Data gets a Borg. You know, when you describe it to somebody, it's like, oh my god, that sounds fantastic. Mm-hmm. And then you watch the episode and it's like, what the hell did I just watch? And why can't I remember what I just saw? That's what I mean. I've seen this a few times and it never leaves an impression with me. I never remember what happens in Descent. Mm-hmm. Never.
Yeah. As now we talk about it, it's strange. Like I say, I like the setup, but it keeps getting weaker and weaker. This is a great Discovery analogy. Watch these two parts of Discovery. They're microcosms of the same problem. As you said also before, very little characterization of these characters. Some Discovery, except little bits of here and there. And superfluous scenes. And I mean, this could have been so great, you know? I don't know, maybe, I mean, I'm trying to think how I'd improve it if I was to completely rewrite it. I think I would actually have Lore really early on. I would have the reveal be like, Lore has an entire Borg cube. Like, Lore doesn't just have 10 Borg at the start. He has, like, an entire army. Or maybe he has, like, 5 ships. Like, maybe Lore... Okay, tell me what you think. What if Lore found Hugh, or the Hugh's ship found him, he was able to sort of, like, use that individuality, turn it into an active virus, because he's a smart man, and he's able to infect Borg cubes to become individual, and so as he gets to seem like he's basically the Borg, he can anti-Borg people, but part of the infection is that they have to like slightly, they're suggestively influenced by his positronic matrix, so they're kind of like he's like a cult leader, but through technology. And so the idea is that, yeah, he actually has a fleet of Borg ships, of ex-Borg, not quite as effective in a sense, but also more vengeful. Can you imagine if that was the real end? You know, they hyperspace, or they transwarp out. You see like 5 Borg cubes. It's like, hello, Jean-Luc. Do you like my fleet? What do you think?
I don't know. You'd have to have a good resolution to that, but yeah, more ships would definitely be good, because we never get a sense of how many Borg were infected with this individuality thing.
One ship, I assume. But
it seems like it, but it would spread through the collective in other ways. But anyway,
I kind of assume that they cut the limb off. They sensed it and they just like cut off. My assumption,
maybe.
But that's you know.
James McGill puts in $1.99. Pity Lord didn't have Borg tech implants to this show. Yeah, no kidding.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool.
And Eugene, 750 rubles.
Thank you.
4 out of 10. Fine balance point between season 1, season 2 Writers Guild strike hiatus and straightforward Discovery tunnel vision like plot construction. That is a fantastic synopsis.
Yeah. No, well said. Well said.
Yeah, and you gave 4 out of 10. That was exactly the score that I was going to give this for all of TNG. Actually, no, I'm going to give it a 3. Because I really don't enjoy this episode.
So the problem is there's 2 halves of the episode, right? There's the interesting setup, which I would give a solid 6.5. Because it could be cool, right?
Mm.
But the last third, mostly the last fifth, is like a 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10. It's as dumb as a Discovery, and they launch 100 shuttles from the shuttle bay. It's like, you fucked yourself because you wanted to be anally penetrated. Why? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why bugger yourself, you know? Why do it? But put together, it's like, it's a you know, there must be reasons for this episode. I think you're right. I think this is an episode that seems great on paper. Or maybe they're cramming too much in, because just the rogue Borg is enough. You don't need lore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's obviously too much story to tell, even though there's filler scenes. If you just had even if just Hugh was the main person, or maybe like Hugh, you know, another Borg in their cube took over and he's a bit of a dickhead, you know? As in the Icheb's ship, there was the other team that wanted to be, you know, more Borgian or whatever. Like, if Hugh was in prison, you know, Borg prison, and it was just a bad Borg who therefore took the vengeance aspect. Maybe he was a Klingon or you know, a heroic. Well, obviously that's post-canon, but you know what I mean. If he was using his personal vendetta on something to influence them, but you don't need lore, you know. Just rogue Borg is interesting. If you lose the just the entire plot of the 2 episodes could be discovering what a Borg want if they're not Borg, you know. It's like, why aren't these Borg trying to, you know, take parts off themselves? Why aren't they trying to be less Borg? You know, they seem very not giving or not caring. So I guess my score, I'm gonna give it between a 3 and 3.5 all TNG.
Yeah. My official one's a 3. I lowered it from a 4.
Yeah. It is not one of those really bad ones.
No, it's not season 1 bad. It's just.
But the thing is, those had better stories, a lot of them. You know, and we definitely gave most of them better than 3 out of 10 for all TNG. I mean, I'd rather watch Code of Honor than this. You know.
Somebody mentioned Sub Rosa earlier. I'd rather watch Sub Rosa than this one.
Which one's that one?
That's the Ghost, Beverly Ghost.
I don't even remember that one.
Sex Ghost.
I think Code of Honor's better than this one, honestly. Honestly.
Look out, Tower Radio puts in £2. Worf needed Klingon spinach and gone Popeye like. And Jarzga puts in $5. Black out of 10. It was named Descent because they were originally going to crash the ship in part 1. Sturgis and McFadden weren't signed for season 7 and could be ... Probably, I don't know what.
Interesting.
It was called Descent because, as Samuel said, as you closer you get to the end of the episode, it just does quality wise, in my opinion. Fleet Pot Swiftback puts in $1.99, 4 out of 10 for Trek, 3.25 out of 10 for TNG. Cool but forgettable. Yeah. Yeah, so tune in tomorrow for part 2. Nobody's going to want to because they're like 140 people watching. Everybody make sure you hit that like button for sure. Get the likes up. But
yeah. And you know, see, we take each one as it comes, you know. You can have bad, good, good, bad. This was certainly on that scale, and maybe this was the start of the decline.
There's a lot of Discovery episodes that are better than this. Jill47 puts in $2. 0.5 out of 10. Dreadful. They destroyed my beloved Data. Oh, that's a wow. It's a low score, man.
I mean, it's interesting, you know. Again, interesting ideas, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. Tomorrow for that train wreck part 2. Thanks for joining in, and then we've got Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. I assume we're going to want to do something on Wednesday, the day before. I've got a dinner to go to, but I can be slightly tipsy back, so it can't be a TNG review, but it can be maybe like predictions or something. And then I've got to stay off the internet from release of Picard to our Friday live, or at least Friday review.
Well, I'll be doing a Thursday night first reaction review,
yeah. But I mean,
which should be exciting. Anti-Trekker said he might join me at some point on Thursday night, so
I'd recommend doing that in your current set, so you have better lighting and stuff. Like do it.
I can't do it down here. Can't do it down here.
Oh, is it 'cause it's too late and so we're sleeping?
Yep.
Boo. Okay. Okay. I don't know, could you have like on your phone?
Have you even watched any of my latest lives?
Yeah.
That are up in the ready room? I use filming lights now, so there's nothing to complain about lighting wise. So just shut up.
No, but it's also the resolution of the camera isn't as good because that's just because it goes through your laptop.
It's the exact same camera.
Yeah, but
this one.
But that's your.
So I got 2 of them.
Really? Oh yeah, because
yes.
gave one. Okay, which one should I be looking at? Oh, Captain Collection show and tell. Let me look at that. Let me do a live review.
No, that's done with my phone.
What one should I be looking at?
Watch these later. Not on air.
Tell me what I should be looking for.
I don't know. My first reactions to The Mandalorian.
Oh.
Just watch them later. Don't do it on air.
No,
anyway, guys.
Yeah, so make you fancy thumbnails. Yeah, we'll see you later. Have a good everything, guys. See you tomorrow.
Because I'm still sick, and I just want to go. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you tomorrow.